Good afternoon and welcome to this webinar, which is being jointly hosted by UiPath and Godrej Infotech Limited today. Today we'll delve into UiPath Test Automation, Agentic Test Automation, and automation of manufacturing use case using UiPath. This session will last for 1.5 hours. So from the side of UiPath, this session will be represented by Jeevan Koneti and Pomil Bachan Porch. Jeevan is the principal solution architect with UiPath, whereas Pomil is the product growth manager and has got 11 years of diverse and deep expertise in process and task mining and test automation as well. Godrej Infotech Limited will be represented by Amit Joshi, who is the global delivery head of RPA and test automation practice. I'll walk you through one test automation use case, followed by an use case that pertains to process automation in manufacturing. So the entire duration of this webinar will be 1.5 hours. Speakers from UiPath will present and demonstrate their test automation and agentic testing use cases, which will take them approximately 1 hour. It will be followed by our the presentation and demonstration from GITL, that is Godrej Infotech Limited. And finally, there will be a Q&A session, which will last for 10 minutes. Thank you very much for joining. And now I'll be inviting UiPath speakers, Jeevan Koneti and Pomil, to present and demonstrate test automation as well as agentic testing use cases. Over to Jeevan and Pomil.
Thank you, Saibal. Can you all hear me okay? Just say yes on the chat window if you can. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, excellent. All right. Okay, thanks everyone for taking the time to listen to our joint story, Godrej and UiPath. So I'm in the next 55 minutes or 60 minutes, we're going to be looking at the UiPath test cloud that enables you and your teams on the agentic testing. And this session starts with why agentic testing all of a sudden and what it brings. And we will cover agentic end-to-end testing. And then we will cover the entire agentic test life cycle, how we can make the entire test life cycle much more faster and smarter and much more productive for our testers. And agentic performance testing is also one of the key aspects of it for today. So with that, let's jump into the story. In 2000, over 75% of the Indian population had lived in the villages, right? And today, about 40% of that 40% of the Indian population lives in the urban area, which means the rural population has reduced to 60%. And now in 2030, it is expected to reach about 50% of the population to live in the urban areas. And to keep up with this change, we had to build better roads and stronger community and modern infrastructure to support it. Similarly, software has also experienced a very similar journey. Back in 2000, in India, we have had only about 5 million users who had connectivity to the internet, which is only about 30% of the Bangalore's population of today. But today in 2025, we have about 900 million people are connected to the internet. And due to this, software has also had to move from very simplistic applications with simple on-premises to SaaS, and from slow releases and waterfall releases to faster, rapid, and continuous delivery. Right? And this change demands both the software development teams and software quality assurance teams to quickly adapt and to support continuous delivery without compromising on quality. However, if you look at the software testing aspect of it from the recent World Quality Report, it is still seen as a manual driven work, right? Over 75% of the testing still delivered manually. And this slows down, releases, and increases the risks for both the teams as well as the organizations. But going forward, it need not be this way. And this is where UiPath Test Cloud comes in with its AI and agentic testing capabilities. It combines the cloud native and low code platform with power of AI and agentic being available. You and your testers can perform testing much faster and in a very smart way. This is what we're going to be looking at. Let's jump into the UiPath Test Cloud. UiPath Test Cloud is a comprehensive test automation platform. It gives you, just a second, test management capability to manage all of your testing work in a simple web application called Test Manager. And we provide you a low-code IDE for you and your teams to quickly build automations without requiring to really understand the nuances of coding and programming, which is the must-have skill in many of the test automation tools. And orchestration and robots helps you to organize your test execution cycles in a more agentic way or more scheduled way, that you need not be there to execute them, but rather you take actions on them when they get into an unexpected situations in failures and so on. Now the entire platform is powered by agents and the AI, and this agentic capability does not require you to understand any coding or any data science capabilities. It is a low-code platform, and you can use AI capabilities that are already available out of the box, and you can also build AI agents with UiPath platform. And now with testing, we also believe testers needs to tightly integrate it with the entire SDLC lifecycle, software development lifecycle, with your development teams and business teams and DevOps teams. Hence, UiPath Test Cloud gives you that entire seamless integration out of the box possible, right? You will be able to connect UiPath Test Cloud with a lot of out of the box tools, and there's no additional cost associated with this platform. You can use right out of the box, and we provide you the automation capabilities to automate and manage your testing projects across all the applications across your organization. And from CI/CD perspective, we commonly see our customers are using Azure DevOps and Jenkins and Bamboo, GitLab, and so on. And you will get all of those integrations out of the box as well. And UiPath Test Cloud is trusted by over 3,000 customers today across the globe, right? Including some of the largest technology companies, power distribution companies, banks, fast-moving goods companies, telecom companies, public sector companies, right? And so on, right? And as a technology, it is industry agnostic and application agnostic. You can directly use for all of your testing use cases. And just to highlight a few use cases so that you get a sense of the impact that you can make with UiPath Test Cloud. NatWest, one of the largest banks in the EMEA region, uses Test Cloud for automate their testing across a lot of banking applications, and they see their test maintenance has reduced by over 50%. And JP Morgan and Chase Global Bank, right? And their impact with UiPath Test Cloud was the time to release their product, new changes into the market had reduced by 33%. And a power distribution company, EDF Renewables, uses for some of the large packaged applications testing, and they see their testing cycle has reduced from 4 weeks just to 3 days. And these are just some of the use cases, but if you have any specific use case, please feel free to type in a chat message. We are happy to get in touch with you or answer your questions. Any testing use case that you may want to understand more about applying UiPath Test Cloud, we're happy to support. With that, let's get into a demo. The demo as part of the session is on the end-to-end testing. We quickly see how an end-to-end testing is enabled by the UiPath Test Cloud, and you have several demos during the course of the session. Stay tuned for it. Okay, so let's get there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you an end-to-end testing. Before jumping into the demo, let me give you a quick overview about the test management capabilities, right? What you see in here is a browser-based application. It is primarily used for managing your end-to-end test lifecycle, and the application name is Test Manager, right? And the tasks that testers typically would perform on a day-to-day basis are easily segregated across different modules, and you can directly see them. And there's not much rocket science, and we're going to be coming back to the Test Manager a couple of times during the other demos as well. So for this demo, what we're going to do is test execution and test management, and think from a perspective of a test lead, test engineer, and see how your work can be improved with agentic testing capabilities. Yeah. So let's quickly jump into test sets, which is an area where you will manage your test execution pipelines. For example, I have a test set which contains 2 test cases, a simple test cases, only 2, but in real time you see thousands and 10,000s as well, right? You have 2 test cases. Now, let's say I want to go ahead and execute it. Understand, I'm triggering the execution from the tool for now, but in real time, you will also have the capability to run this test from a CI/CD tool as well, or you can have it scheduled directly from here. Create a schedule. You can simply say GIL demo, right? Single time or recurrence, and it's very, very straightforward for you to set up your regression schedules or testing schedules, and manage your test lifecycle that way. But for now, what I'm going to do is just trigger an execution on demand. So currently I have 2 test cases, right? And I have 2 instances of test execution hosts, which means I have a VM where one of the test case gets executed. We don't know which test case gets assigned to this VM, and the other test case is directed towards to execute in my system, right? So the orchestration capability in the backend in UiPath takes care of all that load distribution and load allocation when your system becomes free for taking to the next job. So you don't have to worry about it. All of your execution will be taken care by the tool, and then you will be given a lot of insights on how to make your execution powerful. So let's get started. So this is your end-to-end test set, which has got 2 test cases. I'm going to simply click on execute here in an automated fashion. Execution started. Now, yeah, so one test started in my system, the other one, yeah. So in the VM as well, you've got one test started. And in my local, what you see is another test got started as well. It's completed. Yeah, it's done. 2 simple test cases, which has both positive and negative test cases. Let's go back in here. Simply click on refresh. Yeah. So both of them were successful, as you can see. Let's go and look at the results. As a test engineer, what would I do? Right? If this execution had happened last night and the next day I'm in the office, I wanted to see about my execution, I can go into the test case, I can look at my assertions, if there's any failures and the screenshots, and everything is fine for me, right? So it's all successful. It's verifying the loan status. I think everything worked perfectly fine. If there happens to be a failure, you can simply log a defect as well, right? So this is test post-test execution activities, which is validating the results. And now, then with the agentic capability being available to you, you can do many more things, right? So let me go back to the execution and then go to consolidated report, which was prepared by AI. So agentic capability in here automatically consolidates various different patterns on your test execution logs and then provides you key insights on how you can make your test execution much more efficient in the subsequent runs. This is your continuous feedback. This is something was missing completely with the previous tools and previous methodologies. This is what you will get from the agentic capability with UiPath. So here, if you look at that agentic insights report, it clearly calls out the failure rate. The overall failure rate across your test executions was found to be 20%. That is huge for any test program. 20% of your test cases consistently being failed for reasons is a serious issue with the test execution, right? And there seems to be high impact test cases of those. And now it clearly highlights what are those failed test cases and what are the top failed test cases in here in the subsequent drill down. You can go and see the reasoning and the raw data available within the hyperlinks. And it clearly calls out as well what are the common errors that are making your tests fail, right? In my project, I think the UI element being not visible and not accessible seems to be the issue. And now it clearly classifies those various different technical errors into um, um, into a broader issues, UX issue, functional issue, data issue, and so on, for you to really understand the type of issues that your test execution program has. And along with those, it will give you clear action steps on how you can fix these issues to make your test execution much more robust and resilient, right? It clearly tells you add a pre-check in the test script to verify whether the element visibility and the position within the viewpoint. You can click on the hyperlink and you will get to see what was the issue and what test case was having this issue, and you will be able to directly apply those changes and fixes to make your test program highly resilient. So this is one of the key aspects that UiPath provides you to make your test execution more resilient, more reliable for your teams. And now, along with this, we also provide you an end-to-end visualization as well at a very high level, how your test program is being executed from the test execution perspective over the days, right? Pass and fail data, and the entire raw data is available for you to create additional visualizations and some of the key KPIs that your testing teams would need to measure to uh, understand the key benefits of your test automation program and the ROI and so on. They are directly available to you, right? And this can help your QA and QA teams to make the right adjustments to run the program the right way from the very beginning itself. And all of these capabilities are right out of the box, right? Just to summarize, we have looked at end-to-end testing. We have looked at a simple um, test test set execution, which contained two test cases where the execution has happened in two different systems. And then we've looked at the test results and the test reports in a static way. And we have looked at agentic testing report with recommendations and the defect patterns and classifications and the recommendations to fix them. And we have also looked at visualization. Yeah. So this will give you a overall perspective. Now let's get into the real meat of the agentic test development, test design, and so on. Any questions so far on this capability? Please type in your questions in the chat window. Okay, so now let's go back to the presentation once more. The key differentiators that you will find with UiPath Test Cloud is the reusability, because UiPath provides you a modular automation framework with reusable package libraries. Your test development can save up to 80% of the development time as you build more and more assets. And test data management is a key capability of UiPath Test Cloud, wherein you can use the traditional test data management capabilities like synthetic test data generation and a file-based test data management. Along with that, now you have an AI-powered test data management, which can reduce your team's data issues by about 50%. And you're supported by a large community of UiPath users across the globe, which are about 3 million users globally. This community can help you solve any specific use cases and then help support you to build to help you build the solutions if you're stuck at any time. And the second aspect that we are going to be covering today is agentic testing. Yeah. In UiPath Test Cloud, you have a lot of AI-powered capabilities available out of the box. You don't need to do anything for AI. You don't need to configure anything. Everything is prepared for you. You can simply go and use them as is. And these are some of the capabilities that can help you and your teams, especially in QA. For example, there are many, right? And I think about 15 across test design, test automation, and test management. So let me highlight a couple of things. They generate tests from requirements. This can help you to build the test cases from your business requirement specifications, whether they are structured documents or unstructured documents or tabular formats or image formats. UiPath's agentic testing can interpret all of those and then help you design test cases in just a couple of minutes. Similarly, building automations for your manual test cases. Now with AI, you can build your automated test cases with a single click with up to 70% to 80% accuracy. And quality check of the requirements is another capability which we see a very useful, especially in the QA projects where your requirements are not fully documented, fully provided to testers, and this can help you to quickly identify the gaps and have meaningful conversations with your business and your customers. And perform fuzzy verifications or additional logical statements that you would need to add into your automation can be easily done with prompts itself. So with that, so let me go back. So I need to highlight one more important aspect of it. See, while we provide the AI and agentic capabilities to you, right? And you may ask, right? This is one of the very common question. How do you ensure my data is secure? How do I ensure that I govern my platform the right way and with the right access model for my people? So you are supported by a whole layer of security that is embedded in the admin portal of the tool, using which you can completely control the usage of AI or usage auditing, and also put cost control and the context grounding, retrieval augmented capability to ensure your data that you provide is not used for personal training of the model, right? And sometimes some of our customers would often say the open source POCs that they have done had provided a lot of risks because the data that they have used in those frameworks was exposed to the models and LLM to the public, which is which is a huge risk for any organization, right? You would want to ensure that that the AI models and the AI capabilities that you would use are covered, um, uh, do have some coverage around all of these aspects, data aspects and security aspects, and then your governance aspects of it. So with UiPath, you're fully controlled with fully supported AI trust layer there. With that, let's get into the second demo. In the demo, we're going to be seeing a lot of test lifecycle capabilities in an agentic way. Let's go to the test manager again. Yeah. So now this time we go to test requirements, and let me open up one of the requirements here. This is the test requirement that we have received from a business, and this could be directly made available within test management, or you can integrate your testing project to a tool like Jira, Azure DevOps, and so on, and the data can automatically appear here. So now we have test requirement. Let's say what do you want to do is test case generation. Yeah, I'll go into agentic tab here, optimize coverage, and I'll simply click on generate test. You have other capabilities as well, right? You can always explore post the demo. With the time limitation, we are going to be focusing on some of the key aspects. Generate test. Here you have an option to provide additional context to the agent. In this case, I'm just providing my application UI. Hey, this is how my application would look like, and this is my requirement. I would want certain test cases design. And here, one of the important aspects that you need to note is the retrieval augment generation capability, which is an advanced AI technique for you to manage your data in the context that you create for the application, saved securely in here, and then used for the agent to create more relevant and more accurate test cases for you. The better context that you would provide, the better your test cases are going to be. Yeah, because it's all AI. Now let's pick up my context. Now you have an option to choose what kind of test design technique that you want to use. End-to-end testing, boundary value testing, right? Or rapid test case generation for your business process and so on, right? So let me use rapid test idea generation, right? It basically is looking to generate, do not create any test steps, only the test case titles, or limit the test case titles to minimum 13 words, or create a minimum of 50 creative test cases. This seems to be very simple. So let me take something complex. Yeah. So let's do end-to-end flow verification. Here, we are trying to create end-to-end test cases along with the test steps, right? And these prompts that you see in here, these are pre-built and they're available to you. You can use out of the box. But what if you want to create your own prompts for your own application to make it better, to make your test case generation more accurate? No worries. You go to project settings module. You can define your prompts and they will appear here for all of your team members to leverage those prompts and generate accurate test cases. They're very straightforward. Simply click on generate test cases. Now your agent has the information about your business requirement and the context about your application, whether that is your UI wireframe or architectural specification or any business logic mentioned in an Excel document. Anything that you would provide can be interpreted and be used for designing your test cases more and more accurately. Perfect. So we have got quite a lot of test cases in here. So let's pick one of those test cases. Okay. What do we do? So it's a test loan application with invalid loan amount format, the first one, right? It clearly describes the name of the test case, including the purpose of the test case, and then clearly generates or provides step-by-step instructions on how this test case needs to be executed along with the test data as well. This is the key aspect of it, right? Your test case name is generated with the purpose and the test steps along with the test data, and you're ready to you and your teams can use it as is for your manual testing now, right? Gives you URL, enter so and so data, and then validate a specific error appears or not. Perfect. And if you like the quality of the test cases, you can choose the test cases that you want to add as part of your test library and then proceed further. If you'd like to refine your prompts and then regenerate these test cases with some more some additional aspects that are missing now by adding specific instructions and so on, you can always do it. It's a feedback loop. The more you converse with the AI agent, the more your output becomes better and better. I'll just simply select some test cases and add them to my test library. So this way, your test design is completed at this point, and you can open up any of the test cases and you quickly review the test steps. Are you happy with it? Is AI covering every information, or if there is anything missing, you can always add those additional steps and additional aspect. We typically see about 80% accuracy with test design capability. The remaining 20% effort is where a manual tester or a business user would have to quickly review it and then make any changes that is needed and then approve those test cases for test execution. Yeah, so that is your first case, which is test design. The second case that we are going to see is test automation development. Now that we have quite a lot of test cases generated, and now we would want some of those to be automated as well. This is where we would use UiPath's low-code development platform to build the automated test cases, right? And what you see in the UiPath development platform is an automated test case for your reference for now. It is very visual in nature. Even your manual testers and business user can be able to follow through what is being done in the test case, because it is visual and each of the step is represented in a block, and then test data is highlighted in here, and the action that is being performed is clearly visible in a easy to process manner, right? This is your automated test case. But now what we are going to see, how do we build this test case with all of these steps, right? I'm going to close it and my canvas is completely empty. Now I would go into Test Explorer, which is our test backlog panel. It connects to the test management platform and then highlights all of the test cases that you have created in the test management platform. And everything that has an arrow mark on the right hand side indicates these are all manual today, right? Let's say my manager asked me, go ahead and automate some of those frequently executed test cases. Okay, let me pick up this loan creation application. I would simply click on that arrow mark, which is where agentic capability comes into picture, and then creates an automated test cases by analyzing the manual test steps that you have created in the test management platform. Yeah. Now, my automated test, at least the baseline, is ready now. So it knows the URL of the application. It knows different objects that we would be touching as part of the test execution is clearly mentioned here. Even the test data has come through. Yeah. So let us go ahead and execute this test as is. Okay. So let's see how it works. Now your execution will start. Yeah. See, now we have taken a simple test case and we have built a test automation with AI and we have executed it, right? And this is a simple test case, and then you may ask, okay, it is very straightforward and so on. Absolutely, right? In real life, you will have complex test cases, a lot of additional logic that you may want to build. For that, what you would do is simply use AI as well, right? Simply bring up the autopilot agent. For example, now I would want to add a logic to build an iterative statement to repeat this loan application process for various different loan test data, right? Create for loop, right? A simple statement and click on generate. So the whole idea is you don't need to remember any syntax or you don't need to learn any programming. As long as you know what logic that you want to implement, right? You just give them in a prompt and the logic is going to be built, and then we drag and drop the activities that you would want to perform in that iterative loop, right? From current item 5 times, and this is the logic that you're going to be repeating, right? So your logic can be added or your logic can be changed with AI during the design directly. So this is going to help your teams immensely make the test development much more faster. Yeah, this is your studio development agent. And we have looked at, in this demo, we have looked at agentic test design, agentic test automation development, and also agentic test maintenance, right? Adding additional logic or making the change and so on. 3 things. Yeah. Let's go back to the presentation. If you have any questions so far in the first demo or in the second demo, let's go there. And let me highlight a customer who has started using agentic testing capabilities, um, and they have used UiPath's synthetic test data and GenAI technologies, and they have significantly reduced the test data issues by automatically creating test data and simplifying the whole testing framework as well. So with that, they have reported they have eliminated manual interventions by 50% during their test life cycles, right? Which is a great and significant booster for your QA teams. And the next thing, what we're going to be looking at is agentic performance testing. Right? Performance testing has traditionally been a very specialized skill, even within the testing discipline, right? It involves a lot of complex metrics to be understood, a lot of complex protocols to be understood to communicate with the application and then drive the load of users onto application across geographies and so on. But with UiPath Test Cloud, it need not be so, right? And UiPath Test Cloud makes your performance testing very straightforward and simple so that your existing QA teams can also deliver the performance outcomes for your customers and for your projects quite easily. How do we do it? One thing is reusable test automation. So UiPath proposes uh, a way to reuse your functional test automations that you have already built and using it as part of your smoke testing, regression testing, integration testing. You can use the same test case for performance testing. And second thing, UiPath takes care of the infrastructure for your users, right? And performance testing traditionally requires a lot of infrastructure in the backend to be set up to run and manage the load. 2,000 users across the globe, across different countries, hitting the website at the same time and so on, requires a huge investment in the infrastructure. But with UiPath will bring in the serverless robots for load testing and also virtual users, just in case if you want to virtualize the user profiles to reduce the cost. You can do that with UiPath. And the results analysis of your performance testing is made easy with UiPath by using a chatbot-like functionality. You can simply ask what you want to understand from the results, and you don't need to worry about, okay, the graphs going up and down, and there are various parameters impacting your performance load profile and so on. It's very straightforward. With these three uh, value drivers being available to your QA teams, we believe it's going to make performance testing much more value driven for your teams. Let's go look at the demo for performance testing. Just a second. I'll just I think I forgot to add the demo. Yeah. So I have it in my system, but usually performance testing takes quite a lot of time to explain various different stuff. So hence I will just play the video. Okay, so it is loading. Yeah, this is your performance testing use case, wherein you can easily define your performance testing on your use case within the same test management solution. Um, you can clearly choose what type of performance testing that you want to perform. Is it web or desktop and so on? And the type of response that you are trying to measure under load, you can simply choose in a simple web form like utility. And once your load scenario is created, you would simply choose the provision of the users and the automation here. And so then finally define the additional parameters required for your load profile, the virtual users, and the response time you would expect the application to respond or highlight whenever your response goes beyond the threshold limit, and the error rate with your automation and so on, right? And then you can choose to uh, uh, augment the delays and ramp up of the load on your on your scenario, and the peak time at which you're going to measure the peak load and so on. They are quite clearly provided for you, even for non-technical users, to easily perform the functional testing. Yeah, so now we have the load profile defined. And now we're going to click on the execute button to run the performance test execution. Yeah. It is now initiating the performance test with 25 virtual users, and virtual users are being set up. And once they are ready, you will see graphs being created dynamically at runtime for you to really observe how your application is performing under those conditions. This is a high-level performance testing scenario. It is currently under private preview. It's going to be publicly available in October this year. Yeah. Once your performance test execution is complete, you would simply go into UiPath's chat capability in here. You can simply type in your question, right? What happened to my performance test and what is the response rate? What are the key factors and so on? you would just simply say, show me failed test cases, failed responses, and so on as a simple and straightforward English ask, and then your test manager would respond back with all the details. Right? Very straightforward. So with that, so let's get into the next aspect of it, which is the future of testing. So now that we have a few more minutes, we'd like to quickly cover what is coming up in UiPath Test Cloud in the coming release, which is very, very fascinating. And it's going to be very revolutionary as well in the test automation space. And this capability is very magical agentic testing capability. This basically runs your manual test case like an automation without having to build any automation. Again, I'm repeating, this capability will run your manual test case as is in an automatic fashion without the need of building an automation. Let us go and look at this demo. Yeah. So what you see in here is test manager, and you're looking at a manual test case here, sequence of steps provided, and there's no automation created or linked in here. That's the key. And now you're going to run it without a human being available. An AI agent is going to read through those instructions and manual steps and goes to your application and then performs the test case like a manual user does. And then it performs the verification. And it marks the steps accordingly, whether they are successful or failed. And now you open up the execution log and it's there. And it was executed by a robot or agent, not a human. And all the logs are directly available to you on what kind of reasoning it has used to identify various different elements and how it has taken through the whole journey from each step is clearly documented for you to clearly understand how your agent is thinking and has taken actions during the execution. Clearly documented, right? And this can be your audit log as well. Much more clearly documented than a manual user executing a test case. And this is going to be available in October as well. And we're going to do a lot of fine tuning to this aspect. I think this will help you in smoke testing and ad hoc testing and in testing use cases where you have some you wanted to execute manual test cases overnight when your human capacity is not available anymore. I think this is going to be a very good enabler for your manual testing teams to perform any tedious testing activities and test execution that they will need to do every day. Now, let's get into the some more broader aspects of it before concluding, right? It is also important for us to understand why UiPath testing works in comparison to the other approaches that are available with automation, right? There are various open source tools and traditional tools. And with UiPath, we believe you will get, and we are convinced you will get much more broader value for your test lifecycle from all the way from end to end, right? When you compare to technology breadth, you will get the most broadest coverage that you can get with any other testing other tool, right? Test management is directly integrated, so you can have all of your test cases managed directly within the UiPath platform. Performance testing is available. Analytics is included for you to clearly understand what's going on and what action to be taken to mitigate some of the risks that were highlighted in your analytics and agentic capabilities. And test design becomes very, very easy, especially in today's world of continuous release cycles and large application maintenance projects where test design becomes very, very critical. And integrating with the developer tools and business tools, ALM tools, is out of the box. So you can encourage and you can create your testing teams in alignment with the organizational objectives, right? And AI and agentic capabilities and governance controls. While you have the entire stack of AI capabilities available, you have full control on how do you make that access um, um, available to your users and control the usage of the AI aspects of it to also have some control on your cost, right? With AI, the cost is the main aspect. And with UiPath, you're going to be in control of that cost aspect of it as well. For all the AI capabilities that are out of the box, you don't need to pay any additional cost and you can use as much as you want for the user cost. That's it. So UiPath provides you the whole AI platform along with security and governance, and as much as you want to use, covered in the same licenses, right? Whereas the other platforms that have some of those have flaky integrations with some LLM tools where you need to be really careful with data being exposed and also cost being um, overcharged for you. Yeah. And UiPath has, as a test automation platform, has consistently been rated as a leader in test automation tool evaluation list by G2. This list is prepared based on the user feedback on the tools that they have used for various different projects. And UiPath has been consistently rated as the leader for its ease of use and the broader test automation capabilities. And with that, I'm going to hand it over back to the Godrej Infotech Limited team.
Thank you, Jeevan, for sharing the wealth of information and the insightful use cases and demonstrating your agentic AI scenarios as well as the capability of UiPath tools. It was quite insightful, and thank you very much for introducing us and the audience to the latest capabilities of agentic AI automation. So today I'll walk you through a test automation use case that has been implemented for one of our largest European clients. This use case involves purchase requisition followed by RFQ and PO creation process in Info-LN environment. The entire use case has been implemented in Info-LN environment because our client in Europe uses Info-LN across different functional areas in various departments. So when it comes to dealing with the manual testing, usually the functional consultants had to deal with different aspects of manual testing due to frequent changes in the UI, changes in the business rules, field level validations, workflows triggered by patch upgrade, change requests, rollout for a specific country, and migration of the ERP. It happens for any application, and ERP is no exception to it. And it was quite a cumbersome process, of course, and they had to go through approximately 50 odd steps spanning across 6 sub-processes. And the sub-processes were Info-LN login sub-process, create PR item process, convert PR to RFQ process, create bidder RFQ process, and convert RFQ to PO process, and finally info LN logout process. Additionally, they also had to deal with a lot of validations in each of these sub processes. So let us have a look at the validations that the functional consultants or the users had to deal with painstakingly when the process was manual. The user had to check if the status is released to warehouse in master data.
Saibal, sorry, we can't see your screen. We can still see the agenda and speakers.
Yeah. Right. So in fact, is it visible now?
Yes.
Right. So now here you can see that when the process was manual, the consultants or the users had to deal with 50 odd steps spanning across 6 different sub processes, including info LN login, then create PR item, convert PR to RFQ, create bidder RFQ, convert RFQ to PO, and info LN logout. Right. And additionally, they also had to perform different validations. So the validations were like if the status is released to warehouse in master data, which refers to the process of making inventory ready for dispatch, creating the load lines and shipments. As far as purchase requisition is concerned, the users had to check if the requisition status changed from created to approved. Because in PR, in purchase requisition, what happens after the requisition is created, it must go through several stages, such as submit, review, and approved. The transition from created to approved involves several checks and balances to ensure that the requisition is valid, necessary, and within the budget. So that is the reason why the users had to check if the requisition status has been changed from created to approved. They also had to check if the workflow status has been changed from not started to pending approval. Additionally, there were quite a few other validations that were also to be performed by the consultants manually, such as checking if the RFQ status has been changed from accepted to processed. So, all these validations that the users had to perform in addition to going through 50 different steps in the entire PR, RFQ, and PO process were quite long drawn out, and they were frequent in nature. So therefore, the average handling time per manual run of the entire process, along with checking validations, used to hover around approximately 20 minutes, which is quite long, in fact. So this indicated the need for automated testing, because the manual testing process was cumbersome, error-prone, and time-consuming. So therefore, we, the client as well as GITL decided to automate all the testing scenarios across all these 6 sub-processes by using UiPath. And the tools that we have used were UiPath Test Manager, UiPath Orchestrator, UiPath Studio, as well as robots. UiPath Test Manager manages test cases and tracks test results. Jeevan has already demonstrated the capability of UiPath Test Manager in his presentation, as well as different use cases when they were demonstrated. Orchestrator schedules, monitors, and manages automated tests. It actually centralizes test execution and integrates with CI/CD pipeline. Now, while automating different testing scenarios for this particular use case, we actually employed behavior-driven development framework, which is also commonly referred to as BDD framework, breaking down each test scenario into 3 different stages: given, when, and then. In given, actually the respective bot, is required to read the config file, whereas in when, different other bots will be invoked, and each of the bots will be entrusted with the responsibility to enter the relevant data in various index and line items in the ERP in the specific basically pages or fields in the ERP. For an example, in when the respective bot actually logs into Infor.ln and starts the session. And thereafter, another bot will take over and it will actually enter the code, project ID, request activity, purchase office, and various other data in the respective fields. In then, the bot actually performed, the respective bots actually performed various validations for the specific, sub-processes, and eventually generated validation reports for all positive and negative test scenarios. So before I move on to the next slide, I just wanted to highlight one thing, that is the value proposition of this particular use case. When the process was manual, the average handling time per run of this particular use case used to take approximately 20 minutes. But after automation by using UiPath Test Manager, Orchestrator, and other tools, the average handling time was reduced to less than 10 minutes. So there was 50% reduction or average reduction in the average handling time of the process. And besides that, the productivity of the testers and the users also drastically improved. So now I'll just deep dive into some of the sub processes, the flows of some of the sub processes. Here you can see that the respective bot will be logging into Infor.ln, and thereafter it will navigate to the master data, click on the items. It will be searching for items, scrolling down in general tab, and thereafter it will be clicking on the purchase tab. It will switch to the receiving tab, and this way it will actually automate various steps. And it will also check if the status is released to warehouse in master data. So this is one of the validations which is being performed by this particular bot. So if this if it is no, in that case exception will be raised by the bot. Else it will go to the next step. It will close the item purchase and finally item, and it will navigate to the procurement tab. It will be going to the requisition tab and click on requisition, and subsequently it will click on new and execute the other steps. And here you can see that it will also enter various line items by entering item, warehouse, quantity, and the information in different fields. And it performs another validation, which is checking if the status of requisition changes from created to approved. So if it is yes, in that case, it goes to the next sub process, which is convert peer to RFQ process. And if the status doesn't change, then exception will be raised and it will be stopped. So this is convert PR to RFQ process. And so here you can see that one validation, there is one validation which is performed by the bot. That is, it is checking if the status has been changed from approved to processed. Previously, it was created to approved. The status actually, changed from created to approved. But in this particular sub process, it is being changed from approved to process. So initially, it will click on the conversion dropdown RFQ and will be entering the warehouse number, clicking on save. And subsequently, it will be executing various steps. And after all the relevant steps are executed, it will perform this validation. And if this validation is yes, I mean, if the result is yes, in that case, it will go to the next sub process, which is creation of bidder RFQ. So creation of bidder RFQ will be initiated, and otherwise an exception will be raised, and finally it will stop. And this is the other flow, which pertains to creation of bidder RFQ. So here you can see that bot is checking whether the status has been changed to responded. But prior to that and after that as well, it will be executing all the steps. So it will navigate, navigate to the procurement and request for quotations, navigate to RFQ, and so there are lots of steps. So I have already mentioned that more than 50 steps are to be actually executed. So that is the reason why when the process was manual, it was quite cumbersome and time consuming. So in this sub process, you can see that if it is if the status is changed to responded, it will the bot will be selecting the line and navigates to action, and bot accepts, and eventually bot will be accepting or rejecting. And finally, it will convert RFQ to PO. This is the last sub process, which is generation of the PO. So here you can see that bot opens the the line. Conversion action is convert, and subsequently it performs all other activities, and it selects all accepted lines, actions, and thereafter it actually performs a check. Bot, in this particular sub process will be checking if the status for accepted lines have been changed to processed. And if it is yes, in that case, bot closes all open tabs and logs out of InfoLN portal because the PO has been generated. Else, the bot will keep on refreshing the page for 5 minutes. It will go through in a loop, and it will again check if the status has been changed after 5 minutes. If it is no, in that case, bot will be raising exception. Otherwise, it will go to, it will be closing all open tabs and log out of InfoLN portal. So this is the, basically the project architecture and the benefits. And here you can see that the flexible, it highlights the automated testing architecture and the benefits. So the flexible automated testing project architecture comprises data sets required for multiple scenarios in each test case. And another, basically constituent of the entire architecture is reusable bot. The other one is reusable task. And last but not the least is, the validations, in fact. So it will basically try to match the expected result. If it is no, the test case, it will be considered that the test case has failed. Else, it will be considered that the test case has actually passed. And examples of reusable bots could be change company, PO processing, and create bidders. Whereas examples of reusable tasks are, log in as buyer or check and log out, etc. So we have achieved a great deal of operational efficiency. In fact, a good operational efficiency has been gained as we continue to create test cases using the reusable bots and reusable tasks. Reusable bot can be used for automation of testing of any step within a particular test case, whereas reusable tasks are actually smaller work units that are reused. So these are the best practices that have been followed by us, and most of them have been recommended by UiPath. In fact, here we have, I have already mentioned that we have used, BDD, that is behavior-driven, development framework, which is basically an agile software development methodology that enhances collaboration between developers, testers, and business stakeholders. It focuses on defining the behavior of an application in a way that is understandable to all the the stakeholders, and it uses actually natural language constructs. BDD scenarios are typically written using a given when then format. And in the first slide itself, I have explained how given when then format was followed, and various XAML files of the bots were actually configured and triggered. So other best practices that have been followed were basically related to the business flow of the process, test case structure, orchestration details, and test manager configuration. As far as orchestration detail is concerned, here we can see that we have used basically different conventions, like say UiPath process name, test case queue name used for test item triggering, and various trigger details were actually used, such as time-based trigger, then queue-based trigger, and manual trigger as well. And it is needed to. We have already mentioned that actually, when it comes to test manager configuration, we have used test set names and test manager project name associated test cases in the test set, and integration details with Azure DevOps or other tools. If you have got any question, you can post your queries after the session ends. In fact, we have got a Q&A session, which will last for 10 minutes. Now, I'll be moving to our second use case, and this is the last use case. This is related to basically manufacturing. In fact, it is a discrete manufacturing, make to order kind of scenario. And the entire use case was, automated by using UiPath. Let me just, basically run this particular use case. Run this demo for you. So the entire use case was automated by using UiPath. It was implemented in Info-LN environment. Here, the volume of item code creation was quite high. In fact, it was implemented across 9 different divisions of Godrej and Boyce, our parent organization. So more than 9 full-time resources, that is FTEs, were engaged in processing of these item codes as per various engineering drawings. Because we used to derive the BOQ from the drawings, and as per the BOQs, the parent and the child items used to be derived, and accordingly, the item codes used to be generated if they didn't exist in, the item master. So here, the bot has actually logged into Info-LN ERP by using the login credential. And I've started interacting with different user elements. UI elements across different pages. Here you can see that it has downloaded one Excel, and the Excel is containing the relevant basically dimensions of the item. So the bot will actually read all these dimensions and details, and accordingly, it will be interacting with various UI elements across different pages in the Info-LN ERP to enter all these details. And finally, the item code will be generated. And meanwhile, if there is any exception, it will also deal with the exception. So here you can see that it has actually entered the category of the item. It will be selecting different items from the drop-down list. So it has selected EAM category, then equipment class. Some of the items will be skipped, and so it will go as per the input provided in the Excel sheet. So we have actually achieved almost 100% robotization. There is hardly any human basically intervention or human touch in the loop. And the benefits were excellent because the entire process was quite long drawn out. It was time consuming. It used the average handling time of the entire process for creation of one item was quite high, in fact. When the process was manual, it was we used to take nearly 25 to 30 minutes to create an item, depending upon various exceptions. But after robotization, the average handling time has been drastically optimized. It has been reduced by almost 75%, and the savings of cost is quite significant. And the process was quite error-prone also when it was manual. And after achieving 100% robotization, there has been 100% reduction in the error. So you can see that it has actually selected the line of business, and prior to that, it has also selected the other items from the other drop downs, and it is entering the task name. And all the mouse clicks and key depressions have been automated. So eventually you will get to see that the item code has been successfully created. Now it is actually automating different steps involving the workflow, which is an integral part of the item code creation process. It is entering details in the tree level, and it has entered the effective date, and it has also entered the standard item. So you can see that it is entering the item ID in item details tab. Just right clicked and yeah. It has also entered the business process in business process tab. So I'll stop over here because we are almost, like to overshoot the time. And now the question and answer session will start. So thank you very much for your participation, and we'd like to hear from your side. If you have got any query, you can post the queries in the chat box. So I think we have answered most of the queries online, and in case you have got any more query, you can reach out to us. We'll try to answer your queries online via email. So thank you very much for your participation. Hope it has been quite insightful. Thank you very much.